Hey, what's good, you boys? It's your boy Gilly, back with another video for your Friday Arvo, boys. Look, we all made it. Pat yourself on the shoulder. The weekend is right here. The bender is ahead of us. Now, this video that I'm bringing you guys today is going to be a little bit of a different one. It's going to be about all my addictions and kind of just overall experience with the drugs I've done the most of. Watching some of my videos back in the way, I've been talking about MDMA. In specifically, it's been kind of like glorifying it a little bit. And I remember back in the day when I used to watch Luna and those sort of like story time guys, I used to watch videos of them like tripping on shrooms and just wish I could trip on shrooms after listening to it. Because the reason I got this video idea is because I got a comment from someone that I know is a lot younger, because I'm pretty sure I used to play with him on Fortnite. And it was just saying about like my health and stuff, which is an absolute fair point. But, you know, he's probably too young to fully understand what these drugs are. And also, for you guys that are curious and have never done some of this shit before, just let me do the stupid shit. Don't get curious and then go out and do it, because curiosity turns into addiction. That's going to be my little motto for this video. If you're curious about drugs, I'm going to put my Snapchat, Instagram, all that shit in the description, and we can have a one-on-one conversation if you're actually curious about trying something, because I'll let you know on like the side effects and whatever. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to be highlighting the three musketeers, the three horsemen, whatever you want to call them, substances, pretty much just mainly done over my high school and career up until this point right now. So I'm going to start off with weed. Now, weed, it works for some people. I'm not going to just shit talk it, because it definitely does work for some people. However, for me, it does not work at all. It just makes me unproductive, just a little bit of a sad cunt. The thing with drugs, right? It's not going to get rid of your problems. It only numbs them. So a lot of people get addicted to drugs thinking it's going to fully get rid of their problems, but it only temporarily just lets you avoid them and think other shit. But when you come off those substances or whatever you're doing, you're going to be thinking right back the same way you were. And it makes it a lot worse because it just piles up on you. It's only temporary. None of these things are permanent, so you got to keep that in your head. Now, for weed, I probably was high more days in school than I was actually sober, and that is ridiculous. I'd say mostly year 11 and 10 and a little bit of 9 was just my main smoking years, but I'm completely like clean. I haven't smoked a bong in probably almost a month. If I was telling myself that to my year like 10 self, I would have just probably been in absolute disbelief, because at that point I love buds so much. I know a lot of you weed activists, bong smokers, whatever you want to call them, might get a little bit riled up with me shit talking weed, but it's only from my personal experience. Now, back in the day, I used to love weed. You know, I'd come home from school, smoke it, and then just repeat. Really, all your responsibility when you're in school is just get school done and just come home. But when you move out of school, you realize you've got to focus on a lot of other things to progress your life. And weed, it doesn't work for me anymore. I get paranoid as fuck now. A lot of my mates like to mix MD and weed. I do not know how. Like 2 times I've done that, I've legit almost had a panic attack. It's really strange. But yeah, that brings me on to the next topic, which is going to be MDMA. Now, with party drugs, bickies, MDMA, they are very hard to get actually addicted to. However, for a while, it was drilled into my mind that in order to have a good time, I needed MDMA or bickies or whatever, just to actually have a good time and be able to conversate at parties. And that is not how you should be thinking. The reason I want to really drill this in is because a lot of these stories have come from me doing MDMA. Without that drug, I probably would have not half of these stories. So if that tells you, sometimes you get put in situations when you're not sober, that really wouldn't be there if you were absolutely stone cold sober. Now, MDMA, I first tried it after my ball last year. That's a story time coming out the first time I tried MDMA, because it's pretty funny. I didn't really do it after I tried it for my first time, like for a long time. So I just tried it once and left it alone, didn't really touch it again, until I'd say the end of last year. Then I started doing it a lot. Now that I'm 18, I realize, you know, they are illegal. Weed's illegal where I am from. MDMA is obviously illegal. So you have to be really careful. Now that I'm of age, I can be charged with this shit now. Yeah, I understand MDMA as being like a really good go-to drug for underage kids that can't get their hands on alcohol. It's just a quick, cheap high, because, you know, buying a whole carton of like Coronas, if you can get caps probably for about a third of the price and have a probably better time. I'm going to do a drug tier list in the future of like all the drugs that I've done and then rate them. from S to D, that sort of thing. I've seen Goblin do that a while back, and I thought it was a really good idea. But MDMA, the side effects, the like repercussions of doing it too much definitely outweigh the high. For a while, I was doing it every single week. So every single high is never like that first high. You're always chasing that very first time you ever did caps. I'm going to tell that to you right now if you've never done them or you've done them only once. Every time's different and it gets weaker and weaker, and you need more and more MDMA to like maintain the high. That's the reason I quit MDMA or doing as much as I did, is because it got to the point where I literally need 3 to 4 caps to feel even a little bit. And that is terrible. I know some people that are still the 1 cap wonder. But for me, my tolerance just got so massive, because I'm not going to go into how it got that massive, but one weekend I did way too much. And ever since then, it's been shit. If you're going to do MDMA, save it for a festival or like a special occasion. Don't abuse it on the regular, especially if you're not going to anything. Like if you're doing it in your room, there's one time I did it in my room and I like freaked the fuck out. So if you're doing it alone, that is definitely not the way to go. If you can get some advice out of MDMA from me, is just make sure you like know what you're taking. I know that's really hard, but that's probably the best thing I can tell you. And do not abuse that drug, because it's very easy to. You won't get addicted to it. I mean, you can, everyone's different. You will be in too deep before you know it. You'll be taking it every weekend and feeling like shit every Saturday or Sunday morning. Some of my mates say they've never had a come down. However, for me personally, I do get them every now and then, not every time. Sometimes I do get them. Apparently, one of my mates tells me that that's because the MDMA is not pure if you get a come down. I don't know if that's true or not. The come down, if I can explain what it feels like, it's definitely not as bad as like a hangover. It feels like for me, there's legit a brick in my brain and I can't like think straight. So MDMA, it is my drug of choice. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to knock it. However, if you're curious about it, definitely wait. Oh, and also another thing is, if you're young, I feel like people taking caps, it's getting younger and younger. Look back at my school right now. People in legit year 10, year 9 are now taking this shit. And that kind of bothers me a little bit, because the first time I ever took it was year 12. I don't know how that's happened, honestly, because I don't go there anymore. It does kind of sadden me, because those kids are going to do that up until they're 18 and probably continue on doing it. And it does, I reckon when you're that young, it will mess with your mental state. And trying to do MD every weekend and then go to school, I don't know how you do it. So if you're young, stay off the MD until later on in life. It's always going to be there. You don't need to jump the gun. And the last one is the only one I actually struggled to quit. MDMA, I couldn't quit because I know it's taking a toll on me, and weed, I just got sick of it one day. This one is tobacco, nicotine, whatever you want to call it. So this is the only one I actually could not quit for a while, and would tell myself I'm going to quit and then end up buying another pouch. I know most of my boys, everyone smokes cigarettes. For me, I knew I had to quit this because I wasn't just spinning my chop. I wasn't just smoking darts. I was smoking backy cones. And this is fucking embarrassing to talk about. I was smoking backy cones on the daily probably 2 months ago. 3 to up to 10 sometimes. And that is fucking disgusting. So if you don't know what a backy cone is, it's essentially you use a bong, but you don't put any weed in it. You just fill it to the top with spin and you just smoke that. And it gives you the most insane high. Sometimes I'd sit there for 5 minutes plus just with my head in my lap dead, but it feels really good. However, it takes a toll on your lungs, just like any tobacco does. However, since I've got asthma and I was smoking 3 to 9 backy cones a day, after a month or two, I started to feel the effects. Like I could barely breathe at night. Nicotine isn't your friend. It does not let you quit. I just had to slowly come off it and just eventually just not do it ever again. However, at the start, I struggled. Like I'd say I'd quit one night and then in the morning I'd find myself waking up and having a backy cone first thing. It's honestly disgusting to even think about that I ever did that. And it started because smoking weed, you're looking for the next best thing. That's the really slippery slope about substances. You just look for the next best high when you try to quit them. Anyway, quit bud, and then I'd still hang out with all my mates and they'd all smoke weed. But I wouldn't want to smoke weed. I'd want to smoke backy instead. So I would just pack a backy cone and sink that instead of smoking weed. So I still got a head rush, but I wasn't actually getting high. And then it just snowballed from there. It would just be a weekend thing, and then it became a daily thing, and then I legit couldn't live without it. I don't know how. It's a very Aussie thing. I guarantee you no one in America actually smokes backy cones or tobacco cones, whatever you want to call it over there. I'd say that's probably the most serious addiction because I struggled to quit it. The rest I could quit pretty easily, but that's just me. So yeah, those are just the 3 things I really had a running in with, and it took me a while to get off them. Now that I'm 18, I'm really only just drinking, and I had had my first lot of legal drinks last weekend, and it was boss. And honestly, I don't miss MD. This is what saddens me. I'm obviously going to do it every now and then, but I'm definitely going to cut back on it like a lot to only special occasions. It's, you know, it's my drug of choice, like I said before, but you need to know your boundaries. You need to just stick with what's legal, still have a good time. Like I said before, if you want to ask me about any substance, even if it's not one of these ones, I might have missed one. If you're curious, ask me first and just let me do all the dumb shit and bring you guys these videos, because the last thing I want to do is just encourage people to do MD. That's probably the main one, or start smoking backy cones or get into like smoking bud. Just stay sober, face your problems head on. You don't need that shit. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this different style of video. I'm sorry if you're here for a story time, you want to get a laugh out of it. I feel like in some of the videos that I post, I'm kind of glorifying a substance, which is not the case. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this educational-ish type video, make sure to drop in a like, drop in a sub, boys. We're on that grind to 50 subs. You know, become one of the brothers and support your boy. But yeah, that's pretty much it. See you guys in the next one. DJ, run that tune.
Yeah, we put corn in clips. How many times did we take them trips? I was walking around with a 3-8 spin. How many times did I take that risk? How many times did they shoot and miss? How many times did they touch civilians, then try rap and claim that shit? How many lads been taking shit? How many times did we tape off strips? How many bells did I have in the chamber and that pussy all still got hit? How many mashes done got grip? How many times did we lurk with things? How many times did I beg my friend again and again to drop me that stick? I got it and he saw what I did.